everybody. Welcome to the Rotoworld Football Show. It is our fourth and final day from Super Bowl Radio Row in San Francisco. I'm Patrick Daugherty, joined as always by Denny Carter. Not as always, we are joined by a very, very special guest, the Ringer's Sheil Kapadia. When he's not hosting the Ringer's daily NFL show, he's surviving Philly sports. A throwback Phillies hat on today.
That's right.
Sheil, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. How's San Fran treating you? How's the Phillies offseason treating you?
Listen, everything's going well. It's nice to get the call up to the big stage here. Nice setup you got here. Various sports media personalities yelling on various sides of us.
You may recognize one of the voices leading in.
This is what it's all about, so thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Phillies, by the way, you feeling good, feeling bad? Schwarber's back at least.
The window's closing one of these years. I'm just hoping it's not this year. That's basically how I feel.
That is Dombrowski ball. Denny definitely knows what we're talking about.
You guys are talking about baseball. That's all. That I do know that for sure.
Do you know who Kyle Schwarber is?
I do, because when I occasionally dabble with MLB DFS, I use him.
That's
and
right.
he hits home runs.
He likes to hit dingers.
Yep.
Born slugger. Sheil, I guess we'll just get right into the game talk. It's Thursday already, so we've heard every single possible angle on this game. I was kind of hoping we would begin to contradict ourselves, but we've actually stayed somewhat consistent, thankfully. Denny and I were kicking around this take this morning.
Okay.
The Patriots' run defense has been resurgent since Milton Williams' healthy return. Most everybody, though, is picking Seattle. We have not had anyone come on the show and say the Patriots will win. We had one person inch towards maybe the Patriots could compete. I'm sure there are people out there giving the Patriots a chance, but everyone's picking Seattle. But my question would be, can Seattle win this game if Kenneth Walker gets shut down? If this resurgent run defense just eliminates that backfield, makes them one-dimensional, puts it on Sam Darnold's shoulders, how would that game look to you if Kenneth Walker does not have a good game?
Yeah, it feels like the last month here, for a while we're like, are the Patriots frauds? Have they played anyone? But then the last month, their defense has just been awesome.
Yeah.
And I know that the Chargers don't have a great offense, but it's still like Justin Herbert and C.J. Stroud are not, they're not Jared Stidham. They are NFL quarterbacks capable of playing really well, and they got completely shut down in those games. So yeah, I actually don't think Kenneth Walker's going to have a big game here. I think that he's so boom or bust that I say that, and he could have a 50-yard run and not do anything the rest of the game. But I actually think that Patriots defensive line, their tackle specifically, could just dominate against the run. But to answer your question, I think the Seahawks can still win if that happens. I think that this is a game about hunting explosive plays, and I have more confidence in the Seahawks to do that against the Patriots defense than vice versa. I just think the Seahawks defense is better.
We threw this scenario out to you because, like Pat said, we were talking about it this morning. And I thought it was a really kind of a fun thought exercise to say, what if New England says it's going to be on Darnold? Like you're not going to beat us with the run game. And then I looked into the numbers, and it does seem like Seattle likes to run the ball on early downs. They have the sixth lowest pass rate in neutral game scripts on early downs, so first and second down. They're not really good at running the ball on early downs. They're 21st this season in early down rush EPA, 22nd in early down rushing success rate. So it's not like it's been super successful.
Yeah.
I could see them struggling big time to turn out anything on the ground here, though.
Yeah, they could be. Also, the game approach is Mike McDonald's coming in here being we're not giving this game away. Let's take it easy. We'll run the ball early. But their whole offense, it feels like, is predicated on they waste those runs on early downs, but then they hit you with the play action for 35 yards. Now, there's been the nerds have talked for years about do you actually have to run the ball for play action to be effective? The answer has been pretty much proven no. But I think from a coaching perspective, you still say, all right, let's make sure we're a little bit balanced on early downs. If we waste a couple, it's okay. But that's their whole offense, because if they get in third and long, they're not very good.
Right.
If they have to pass the football, if they're from behind, I don't think they're great. Their whole offense is kind of based on play action, explosive plays on early downs, and I think that'll be the same approach in this game.
It is funny, like you guys say, the spreadsheets seem to have definitively concluded that you don't need to run an early down to set up, and yet so many of the best teams still do it.
They still do, and I think
success.
coaches like to still believe it, okay, we've established it.
It is like a
now
totem
we do the play
that
action.
they can't give up.
Yeah.
But staying on the topic of the Seahawks run game real quick, we talk about Sam Darnold's oblique injury. No one's terribly concerned about it. Talk about Drake Maye's shoulder injury. We're a little more concerned about that. But Zach Charbonnet, a guy who's out for this game, it's kind of as soon as he got hurt, we just stop talking about that? Like, stop even considering that? Like, it's something that might affect the Seahawks. It hasn't so far. And, like, he just seemed like he was kind of out there to keep the defense honest. But the fact that I feel like his name has not even come up this week, is that something we should maybe focus on a little more? Like, guys, listen, I know we didn't like to watch Zach Charbonnet run.
No, we did not.
But one of the smartest coaching staffs in football insisted that he keep running on early downs. And I just wonder if that's like a potential X factor we're not talking about coming into this game.
You know, you've done the impossible, because at this stage in the week, there is no new thing anyone can say or hear, but I can confirm that's the first time I've heard Zach Charbonnet's name
Congratulations.
all week long.
Thank
So
you,
yeah,
thank
good,
you, thank you.
nice job out of you. I think not so much with the run game, but I know like the tape grinders will tell you that in passing situations, he's much better in pass protection than Kenneth Walker, and so that could be a big deal. It's like one missed blitz pickup that leads to Sam Darnold getting crushed from behind in a fumble. Like that could totally flip the game. So yeah, I do think from that perspective, it's probably a bigger deal than just is their run game going to be efficient or
He
not.
was just a guy who was on the field all the time.
Yeah.
And when he got hurt, it's like, we're just like, it doesn't matter. Because his yards per carry is low, so.
Right.
In that game, what was it, late in the season against the Panthers, where I'm like, Charbonnet's carrying him. In the, he had little glimpses where it felt like he was important, but yeah, not overall.
I go old school coach and Charbonnet, like he's a body blows guy. Like, he just needs a starting job. He can't be sharing a backfield.
Guy just
I
loves
hate that
ball.
take.
You
I
know?
hate that take. I will say this all leads to a path where George Holani is the most important player in this game, and nobody's talking about it. Real quick, Sheil, you mentioned the protecting Darnold and the importance of that, especially against a healthy New England front seven that has really given quarterbacks fits lately. So, I mean, the Seahawks' offensive line, per the metrics, is not bad, but they're not great either. Yeah. Seattle has the 12th highest pass blocking win rate per ESPN. PFF grades Seattle's offensive line as the 19th best pass blocking unit in the league. Like, and just the eye test is watching them. I feel like they do have some like blown situations where against really good pass rushes, and especially pass rushes that disguise what they're trying to do, like the Patriots do so often. I feel like it could be a time for Sam Darnold, which makes me nervous about my Seahawks pick.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Darnold, he could get crushed in this game. Both quarterbacks, there's a situation where like one of them takes 6 sacks or something in this game, and I think it's the interior mainly for the Seahawks. Someone's yelling here. I mean, things are getting wild here.
So somehow not Stephen A. yelling for the record.
It was not Stephen A.
Big upset.
But I think right guard and their backup center, those are like the spots where Seahawks fans, you just talk to them and they're like, oh my gosh, we're a little nervous about this. And that's the strength of the Patriots defense. So yeah, Christian Barmore, Milton Williams, those guys could be leveling Sam Darnold. Again, it just takes like one of those where he fumbles at their own 23-yard line, and now all of a sudden it's a game.
I will say Darnold, he absorbs pressure very well. That guy knows how to take a sack.
Yeah.
Like he gets Mac
Yeah,
truck.
you're right.
He's like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
A lot of talk Sam Darnold, all the focus is on Sam Darnold, of course. Ton of focus on Drake Maye. And this is another thing, it's anecdotal. We're talking to different people throughout the week. Maybe the people you're talking to have a different view of the situation or saying different things. But we just kind of found the discourse around Drake Maye to be bizarre. Like, he's likely the MVP runner-up. They're announcing that tonight. And people have kind of this week has been talking about him like he's a liability. Because he has
how
not
can
played
this kid
well.
do anything?
He's taken 5 sacks all 3 of the playoff starts. He's been fumbling left and right. The big plays haven't really been there. Swirling snows, 2 of those games. Elite defenses, all 3 of those games. It's another elite defense this week. But do you just... I feel like Drake Maye is still one of the main things the Patriots have going for them and like trying to win this game, spring the upset. I just wonder where you are at on Drake Maye after what was an MVP caliber season all year, not here at the end, but where are you on Drake Maye heading into the Super Bowl?
It's a classic recency bias thing,
Yes.
and I feel like I've fallen victim to it. I'm not going as far as to be like, Drake Maye stinks. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm kind of like, do I actually trust Sam Darnold more than Drake Maye? Where a month ago I'd be like, what are you crazy? Which I don't think I do, to be clear. I think if you swap the quarterbacks, I would feel even better about the Seahawks. But yeah, I had Drake Maye as my MVP in the regular season. If you look at these 3 games, it's been like one of the worst 3-game stretches statistically in the nerd stats that I look at for a quarterback in the playoffs in like the last 10 years. I mean, it has been, he's getting sacked on like 17% of his dropbacks.
A lot of sacks.
He's fumbling. He was one of the best maybe the best quarterback in the NFL when he was pressured during the regular season.
Yes.
You're like, oh my God, look at him step up and just chuck that ball 40 yards downfield. And now it's like, you're yelling, Drake, that guy's about to kill you from behind. He's just like, oh, and he takes a sack. So it wouldn't surprise me. I think the Patriots' path to an upset, to a win, is like Drake Maye Superman, and I think that's in play. I think he's awesome, and I think he could just come back with an extra week of rest, and we're just like, man, that was an all-time performance. He's only 23, and he cooked that defense. And then on the other side, I think if they force Darnold into turnovers, but I feel good about Maye. Part of me wonders whether he was able to make up for the deficiencies around him for the entire regular season, and some of those are being exposed now, where you're like, it's not a great offensive line. The wide receivers have played well, but no one would take this group over most groups in the NFL. No. And then I have been a Josh McDaniels hater for a long time, so I don't want him.
I'll get my card out.
Get your card out. We'll get you one later, Denny, if you want.
It.
Yeah, but
I want in.
When he gets credit, I'm with you. I'm like, no, Maye has put the team on his back. I think McDaniels has done a good job this year, but like, I don't trust him to out-scheme Mike McDonald in this game. So I think it's really got to be Maye making those passes where you're going, the coverage was really good. That was nothing wrong with what the Seahawks did, but man, what a throw that was. And he's made those throws all season.
Yeah, both teams, spoiler alert, need the quarterbacks to play well to win.
Whoa.
I do think Seattle, they're better set up to weather a poor Sam Darnold performance.
100%.
The Patriots get a poor Drake Maye performance.
Oh, it's over.
There's pretty much no chance.
That's the kind of the path that I see it going down, is like, if Maye doesn't play out of his mind.
Yes.
In such a tough matchup, honestly against a zone defense that really has sort of given him fits. This kind of defense this season. There's also this stat I want to bring up. So Drake Maye, we've talked about how he's like the one young quarterback who throws it downfield even against two high safeties. Like, he just forces the ball downfield. His air yards per target is outrageous. All this stuff, and it's great. We like it. But I was looking at how teams have attacked the Seahawks defense. The Seahawks defense is, on the season, is seeing the NFL's highest rate of check down passes, which is 12%.
Really?
And I looked at Maye's matchups against other teams that are up there in the top 5 as far as check down rate, and their yards kind of went away. So I'm wondering if they can keep him contained as far as throwing it downfield to Kayshon Boutte, Matt Collins, whoever else, maybe Pop Douglas. That would be a problem for the Patriots.
Yeah, I don't think they can win that way. Like,
right.
I mean,
no, I don't.
No.
Yeah, it's just like the idea of them methodically moving the ball down the field on one. Oh my God, 9-play drive took up half the quarter. It would really surprise me. The whole idea of playing this type of defense is like, the offense is eventually going to make a mistake. And sometimes you run into the Rams where you're like, no, they're not going to make a mistake. They're just going to keep moving. But the Patriots, with their offensive line specifically, like, for them to string together 9 straight plays where they're running it, where they're checking it down, where an offensive lineman's not getting beat, where they're not having a false start penalty or something like that. Like, maybe they'll do it. I would be surprised if they do. But I almost think they're just got to be like, let's hunt explosive plays. We don't have to. We don't have to have 25 first downs in this game.
No, yes.
I don't even know if I've seen the Patriots play that way. This year, like, I can't remember like a really long sort of Mahomesian drive where you're checking down 5 yards at a time. I don't think he plays. Drake Maye really doesn't play like that, but he is playing a team that has seen a lot of that from the quarterback.
And I think isn't the book on the Seahawks defense, the deeper you get down the field, the more vulnerable they are.
It depends on the metric.
Okay, I should have known.
But they've gotten better. They've gotten better.
We can find one that says whatever you want us to say. Yeah.
But they don't face a lot of the deep passes. Is the main point. Yeah.
Sheil, before you leave, we're going to ask you a few coaching questions.
Yeah.
But we got to put a bow on the game. It sounds like you're leaning Seahawks.
Yeah.
Just what is your official prediction on Super Bowl 60?
I don't feel good because, like you said, it does seem like almost everyone I've talked to this week is on. And I usually just like to be the contrarian because, like, now if I pick the Seahawks, no one's going to remember. If I'm one of the only people who picks the Patriots and they win, it's like all of you. But
I was telling Denny this morning, all week I've been trying to get the Patriots contrarian. I've become so agonizingly close.
I know, me too. But I can't do it. Yeah, and I could pull the cheap thing where I give you guys one prediction, and then on the Ringer NFL show I give another one and see if anyone actually knows. But I'm not going to do that. I'm a man of character, and so I'm going to stick with my prediction. I've got Seahawks 24, Patriots 16, where it's kind of like an ugly, low scoring. It doesn't feel like the Patriots are in it, but the score says they're kind of in it, and then the Seahawks maybe score a touchdown late.
They said like everyone having the same prediction is always scary, especially when it's someone like Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
But the reality is the Seahawks have just earned that. And so it's not, he likes the Seahawks to cover, and he likes the under. That's not what we asked him, but that's
No, that is true. Both those things.
I like the under, and I like the Patriots to cover. That's as close as I can get to being Mr. Pat's
Okay, so you're
contrarian.
threading the needle.
I'm
They
threading the
lose,
needle.
but they cover.
They
Okay.
lose yet win. They do the only thing more important than
I
winning.
like the over because I think the Seahawks are going to score a lot of points.
All right. So, yeah, Sheil, that's the game.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Super Bowl 60 all week. You and I always like to talk the head coaching
Yeah.
landscape. And 10 openings. I think since, maybe we've talked since some of the openings, but 10 new jobs this offseason. Some good hires. I was about to say a lot of good hires, then I corrected myself.
Yeah,
Some good hires,
that's-
some mediocre hires, some, in my opinion, very bad hires. Well, let's start positive. Of the 10 new head coaching jobs, what was the favorite hire made this cycle for you?
I think probably Jesse Minter feels like the one that if I were a Ravens fan, I would be pretty excited because I do like, when you hire a head coach, it's like there's always uncertainty. You don't really know them. The fact that he's worked in the building before, so they know like personality, relationships, character, work ethic, that kind of thing. I think that works in their favor. I think he's a good defensive coach, where if you're just like good defense plus Lamar Jackson, we should probably be pretty competitive. So I like that too. And the more we get away from the John Harbaugh stuff, which I think John Harbaugh is a very good head coach, but it does more and more feel like it was time when you're reading some of the coverage. I think The Athletic was like he lost the trust of some leaders in the locker room. And
Which seemed evident just from afar.
Yeah,
but you
it
never
didn't
know,
seem right.
You
Yeah.
never know if you're projecting or
It was
not.
pretty toxic.
It seems
on the
kind of
field.
toxic.
And Minter seems, so I think they are a team that could just benefit from like a refresh, some new blood. They don't have to change everything, but it's like, they could be right back in the mix for a Super Bowl next year.
Do you like the McCarthy and Pittsburgh hire? Because Denny really likes to be a McCarthy contrarian. And like, to me,
You're talking to the wrong guys. Dan.
I've just been,
I should say, as far as fantasy goes.
as far as fantasy,
Okay.
Right, right.
I've just been
He throws the
so,
ball.
I've been so baffled by that one because going into the Steelers head coaching search, like, the Steelers, you don't always have to be trying to think of like a 20-year time horizon. Like, it's okay to make like a 5 or 6 year hire. But then they made, I felt like, what was the shortest term hire of the cycle. Mike McCarthy, you're hiring him for 2 to 3 seasons.
years.
He's basically coming in to like try to finish the job. I don't know what job.
Finish
they're
what job?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
job.
Close.
This is like the Pete Carroll job they're trying to finish this year. Like
Man,
this seems like
yeah.
they're trying to go 3-14. So it sounds like you don't see any silver lining in the Mike McCarthy.
No, I don't like it. And I know the graphic was circulating comparing his tenure to John Harbaugh's, but Mike McCarthy has always had a good quarterback.
Yes.
Literally, right?
Truly
Unless
always.
the guy's gotten
Yes.
injured. He goes Favre, Rodgers, Dak Prescott. And we have no idea who's playing quarterback in Pittsburgh. And I like Mike Tomlin. I feel like Mike Tomlin was doing more with less. And Mike McCarthy has not proven to me to be a guy who can do more with less.
Right.
So I don't think they're going to be very good next year. I don't understand the hire with their
truly do not get it.
timeline. Like, what are you doing in the next 2 years? You have no chance to win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years. Like, their whole thing is like, let's take a flyer on a young unknown coach who can be with us for a long time. I love it. Great philosophy. Why didn't you do that here? Why did you just hire
Very
Mike
strange,
McCarthy?
yeah.
I truly, that is what's confused me so much with this. I thought the Ravens should have made a short-term hire, maximize the final 2 to 3 seasons of Lamar Jackson's peak. Thankfully, I think they kind of got to have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah, I
Jesse
think
Minter
so.
could be a good short-term hire and definitely a good long-term hire. Jesse Minter just struck me as the guy who should be in Pittsburgh, and Baltimore should have maybe hired someone like Mike McDaniel. And Minter is one of my favorite hires, like regardless of what team he ended up with.
Yeah.
So probably can't really quibble with the Ravens there. I guess besides Mike McCarthy, who's your least favorite coaching hire?
I mean, are we counting the Cardinals, or do we just view them as like a minor
A
league
lost
franchise?
cause, yeah.
Honestly, most irrelevant franchise in the NFL.
Just totally irrelevant.
They really are. It's stunning, and they
I
should
was,
not be.
I was workshopping that take yesterday, and I'm like, let me look at the standings, make sure I'm not. And I'm like,
No.
oh, this is a slam dunk. I mean, I'm not saying Mike LaFleur's going to stink. Who knows? But he just hired Nathaniel Hackett as his OC. I don't know.
He won a fight for Nathaniel Hackett. Like, Nathaniel Hackett had already taken a job with the Dolphins.
Oh,
He was
really?
the
Oh, I didn't
QB's
even see
coach.
that. Oh, my
Yeah, so
God.
not only did he hire Nathaniel
He
Hackett,
fought for him.
he's like, I gotta get him.
Gotta get him.
Gotta get
Can't
him.
work with anybody else. So,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think any coach who had options wanted that Cardinals job because you don't really know the quarterback situation. You don't love the roster. And, by the way, you're going to coach against Mike McDonald, Sean McVay, and Kyle Shanahan. So I understand why he went there. If it was just him, that would be, but Come on, Mike. Don't you know any young, any up-and-coming head coaches who need a shot? Why are you hiring Nathaniel Hackett, Mike?
Truly,
come on, man.
It is
Really,
wild.
it seems like a bit, like a comedy bit. Like,
Yeah.
why would you bring this guy in?
Yeah.
He's been bad. Was he ever good?
No.
No.
Do you think
He's
there's
bad everywhere.
Do you think there's a non-zero chance that Cardinals ownership thought they were hiring Matt LaFleur? Like Bill Bidwell brought up the Pro Football Reference
that's
page,
funny.
and someone sent him a link.
looks
Like
pretty good.
LaFleur's on thin ice in Green Bay. He just assumed he got fired, and that's who he got. I think there's a chance given his
I
ownership
would say
history.
there's a small
Yeah.
chance. They have similar haircuts.
Yeah.
You know,
They-
so
that's
that,
right.
that could work.
Yeah.
The only thing I can say for the LaFleur hire is that it at least is a correct process hire. We in general say we're not against hiring defensive-minded head coaches, but in a perfect world, you hire an offensive-minded head coach who calls his own plays. He's from the Shanny and McVay trees.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a red flag. It's like very Brian Callahan coded.
Ooh.
Like the only job he could get was the absolute. Like wasn't in the running anywhere else.
No.
And like the
Kinda
card.
came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was kind of out of nowhere.
Listen, I just want to go on the record, though. We could give Aaron Glenn the Brian Callahan Award.
Yes,
Because we
yes.
know how that's going.
Yes, no.
And we know by Halloween next year that he is not
Yes.
going to be the head coach
They
of the
just,
New
they
York
just need to
Jets.
fire one more assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite piece of trivia on that, but interesting, I think only to me, as I was like trying to quiz people, like, do you know how early in the season Brian Callahan was fired? Like the high in Nashville was 80 degrees the day he was fired. I looked this up.
That's early.
This is the kind of hard-hitting research you get at the Rotoworld Football Show.
It's analytics.
I think, unfortunately, the last question we have for you, but Philadelphia Eagles. We have to ask you about the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
You know, it was a dreaded odd-numbered Eagle season this year. So you know what that meant? Like, they're good, and yet they're somehow also in crisis all year and melting down constantly. You know, big changes again to the staff, some retirements, the offensive coordinator out, replacement. Is Nick Sirianni's seat officially scorching hot heading into 2026, or is this kind of media projection? We're like, Nick's crazy on the sidelines, he's scowling. Like, is he in better with management than maybe we realize, or do you think that it's a genuine hot seat year for Nick Sirianni?
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty hot. I think this year it was like they still won 11 games. They won the Super Bowl last year. You're not doing anything. But next year now, they're overhauling the entire offense. I mean, the fact that they lose their O-line coach, Jeff Stalin, who had been there for 13 years, bring in an OC who was not called to play, who's been in the NFL for 2 years, and it seems like they're really going to just try to change things up schematically where maybe it'll work. You know, it could. They've surprised in the past. 2 years ago, he was on the hot seat. They won the Super Bowl. But there's also a lower floor, I think, than in recent years. And I think if it doesn't go well next season, they're going to look at it and be like, why are we sticking? What is the point of sticking with him? A lot of people are rationally asking that right now.
Yes.
Like, wait, what's the point of still having him there? So, yeah, it is. I think it could be a wild offseason for them. Is A.J. Brown going to get traded?
That's what I was going to ask.
Is he going to get traded? Can you tell us?
I would say yes. Not like reporting it or definitively. If you ask me, like, what would I put, give me $100, what am I betting on? I would say he's going to get traded.
Wallet.
Yeah,
Right.
with, with your
this
card.
can't sustain. Like this, his behavior on the field, off the field, like the fact that he hates being part of this team. Clearly, like he whines anytime he doesn't get the ball, and then when he does get the ball, they lose. Like I don't think they can go forward like that. I think Pat had a word for it during the season. He said enough with the A.J. Brown stuff. He's got to go, and yeah, he would be great if he actually wanted to.
He should just be allowed to play for the Patriots this weekend. Let's be real.
That might be. I mean, yeah, not this weekend, but if you told me week 1 next year, that wouldn't shock me. The Bills,
awesome.
Brandon Beane feeling the heat. Does he make?
Yes.
So I think there will be a market for him.
Maybe even the Chiefs.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They've got cap problems.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, that would be because the Chiefs have a good draft pick this year.
They
so
do.
it's like
about, once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
Will Sirianni? Will he even be like recycled if he gets let go? I never can tell how he's truly perceived. I always kind of compare the Eagles to they're like a very rare baseball style structure in the NFL where almost every NFL franchise, the most important person on the entire team is the head coach. At baseball, it's not like that. It's run. The teams are run through the front office, not the sideline. Of course, they're run through the front office of football in terms of, like, the most important personnel person in the Eagles is not the head coach.
Yeah.
Of course, personnel is not the right word. I'm fumbling for words here. But they're the rare team.
Front office-centric organization.
Yes, they're the rare
Yeah.
football team where the GM is the personality,
Yeah.
not the head coach.
GM and the owner make all the decisions,
Yes.
and that's not like a knock because they've been very
Yeah,
good and they've
yeah,
won 2 Super Bowls, but that is different from most. I mean, they are dictating the coaching staff, the analytics staff, the
yes.
training staff, the practice schedule, the personnel moves, the
Yes.
scouting. Like, there are 2 people who are dictating all that, and they've been very good at
So
it.
they run like a baseball team, and it's working.
It's working,
So,
yeah, but yeah,
Works well.
I don't know. I mean, I had this argument with people in Philadelphia. There are a smaller faction now of Sirianni supporters, and I'm just like, I don't know that he will get another job as a head coach if he's fired by the Eagles, because to your point, it's not just the coaching. It's just like, do I want that personality? Seems a little,
it's a
like
tough
off-putting.
personality,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I would say no, but. As we've discussed, Pat, NFL owners, they're not the most creative thinkers out there. So.
No. By the way, we have some we're letting you, Sheil's got to go, unfortunately. Denny and I have Eagles intel. Who's in San Francisco? You know who we saw yesterday? Remember who we saw? We saw Big Dom. Big Dom
we
is
did
in
see
the
Big
town of
Dom.
San
I'm sorry. Yes,
Francisco.
yes, we did.
We were too
did.
scared to introduce ourselves.
Okay.
Yes.
But Big Dom,
We also saw Landon Dickerson.
we did.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
we
saw
did.
A.J. Brown. I saw Jordan Mailata. Do they think they're playing in this
I
game?
think they might think
They're going to
playing.
try to play.
Okay.
They're going to try to get on there.
Big Dom, or maybe a Big Dom betrayal's brewing.
We'll see.
We will see.
We'll
Be
update
careful,
you.
Yeah,
Pat.
we hope you see Sheil's show. You listen to Sheil's show. Sheil, we introduced it at the beginning, but just tell the folks where they can find you, what you're up to.
Ringer NFL show. Yep, we are. We have been daily all season long. I don't know if that'll continue in the off season, but of course, we're a Spotify company, so listen on Spotify, but also available wherever podcasts are found.
Yeah, amazing show. I love talking with Sheil. Thank you so much for taking time to join us.
It was a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming and enjoy the game. NBC Sports Now is live from San Francisco all week with special guests. Tune in live from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern each day, Monday through Friday, for the Dan Patrick Show, PFT Live, the Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry, Chris Sims Unbuttoned, and the Dan Lebitard Show. NBC Sports Now is a free 24/7 streaming channel. Full details on where to watch are available at NBCSports.com/now. Denny, so much good content pumped out
So
by
much.
the NBC group this week. So many great guests on PFT Live, Fantasy Football Happy Hour, colleagues doing just amazing work. And NBC, they're not telling me to say this. We would be remiss. Say, tune in for the Winter Olympics.
That's right.
Truly cannot believe it. Beginning Friday, our guy Drew Dinsick hopped right off the stage and headed to Italy. And,
He's pumped for the Olympics. I can't even imagine the knowledge he has of the niche sports
I know.
that are there. I need to reach out to him to talk to him about it, because I bet he would blow you away.
We need to continue reaching out to him. To Drew, listen, the restaurant you told us last night was too busy.
Like
we
Drew,
need
just
another one.
teach us how to be adults.
Like,
honestly,
we knew. I know. We
Come on.
knew too. If we had shown up with Drew, they would have just let us in.
Yeah, well, they would have been like, Drew.
Yeah. They would have known Drew. That's right.
My
That's
guy.
right.
Hey, get these people out of the table.
So
Put Drew's people there.
Drew knows everything. Denny knows DFS. Denny has laid out the DFS scene for Super Bowl 60 on Rotoworld.com.
Yeah.
Really great article.
Thank
Check
you.
it out. Now he's going to tell you about it in audio form. And Denny, let's just get right down to business. Lay out the DFS landscape for the big game.
Yeah. So, all right. Here's the thing. On DraftKings, for the Super Bowl in particular, I think they make I don't have any inside sources or anything, but I think they make the pricing what you would call softer than usual, so that it's not agonizingly difficult to put together like a reasonably decent lineup. It makes sense, but you have to keep that in mind. And I also think, just in making lineups the last couple of days, you might have to be comfortable with leaving some money on the table. And I know that is not comfortable.
My only goal when I make a DFS lineup is for it to say 0.
Sometimes, right, exactly, and that feels good. That feels right. And I think usually that's the way to go.
Feels patriotic.
I am telling you though that it is a way to get different. If you want to get different, you leave a little money on the table. So in making lineups, you want to try to create a story that makes sense. Is this going to be a rock fight, like Pat's referenced a couple times this week? If so, maybe you want to get both defenses in your lineup. Maybe you want to get one of the kickers in your lineup. Maybe you want to get, and I mentioned this in the piece, 2 running backs from one team. Now that's different. A lot of lineups are going to have Ken Walker, obviously. A lot of lineups, not as many, but a lot of lineups are going to have George Holani, the RB2 for Seattle. but not a lot, I don't think, are going to have both Holani and Walker.
I'd probably just have the better player, Holani. What? Well, come on.
You took the words right out of my mouth, but yeah. But I think that's an interesting strategy. Just to start with the player talk here, is that we know the Seahawks are going to want to run, okay, and we talked about that with Sheil a little bit. If they're successful, and if the game script is positive for the Seahawks, there will be a lot of rushing attempts. But there's also this. I didn't realize this till the other day. George Holani in the NFC Championship game ran more routes than Ken Walker. So he came in, he ran 17 routes to 16 routes for Ken Walker. They both saw 4 targets. Now, Walker was more productive on his 4 targets, which makes sense. He's an explosive guy. Holani's not. But Holani's very cheap in this game. I think $2,400 on DraftKings. I think you can throw both of those guys in your lineup if you are anticipating positive script for the Seahawks.
Well, the hater in me is going to have universal Holani rostership.
Really?
He's
Yeah.
He's better.
I'm into him.
I'm going to play the
big
Seahawks best running back in this game. So you just laid out kind of some of the must-plays. You really laid out the general strategy. Amazing job there. But this is kind of a faulty concept, really, because I guess it just depends on what kind of lineup you're trying to build. But who would you consider the Patriots must-plays in DFS for Super Bowl 60?
I'm once again going to talk about Hunter Henry, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop me.
Nope,
no, Pat can't stop me.
I can't even cut your mic here.
Producer Adam can't stop me. The local police cannot stop me. I'm gonna mention Hunter Henry once again.
The SFPD is gonna Billy Club you.
They're actually coming in. I'm gonna speak quickly. So he has an over/under, like we said, of 4 receptions in this game. I really like the over. The Seahawks are giving up the 3rd most targets and receptions to tight ends this season. And it was I kind of forgot about this, but against the 49ers 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, 49ers tight ends combined for 14 targets against these Seahawks. Now, I'm not saying that Hunter Henry's going to see 14 targets. That's not going to happen. But he's very cheap. You can get 10 targets out of him in a certain kind of game script. I really like him as a guy. You don't even have to have him alongside Drake Maye, because likely if Drake Maye is checking down to Hunter Henry a lot in this game, he's not going to score a lot of points. So he can stand alone in your lineup.
Do you have a lean on Kayshon Boutte versus Mac Hollins, or is it just kind of guessing in the dark?
It would be Boutte in a vacuum, right?
I think so too.
Kayshon Boutte, he is running more routes. He's seeing more air yards. But the weird play is Hollins, right?
Yeah.
And also, as far as the captain spot goes, we could talk about the captain spot for 20 minutes.
Who is in the captain
spot?
spot?
Okay, we're not going to talk about the captain spot for 20 minutes, but we will say this.
Jason Myers.
It's clearly Myers. No, it is fun to throw in a very high variance receiver in that captain spot.
Yes.
Now, you could end up looking real silly, and that's okay. It happens. This is a very volatile game. But if you put someone like Hollins in the captain, he's not going to be very highly rostered in the captain, or really at all, I don't think. And then you put Drake Maye in below the captain along with a couple other pass catchers, and the Patriots go off pass game wise, you're in the money. You're likely going to win a few bucks.
For the record, I'm putting Drake Maye in the captain.
You're okay.
That's if I do end up making any lineups.
Yeah, Maye in the captain makes sense because he runs.
He runs, and as we said,
yeah.
The Patriots are not winning without like a big time Drake Maye performance.
Right.
It's kind of who are the Seahawks must plays? Is George Holani a must play?
Holani is very interesting to me. Don't get cute with Jackson Smith and Jigba. Just play him.
It's true.
I
you might as well
hate to
not play if you don't.
Yeah.
Play
So it's just like you can only paint like 1 or 2 scenarios in which he's not super involved.
Yes.
And one of them is like a defensive like Marvel performance.
It's also too
from
like
the
does
Seahawks.
Vrabel do the old classic Belichick thing of
take away your
all we're doing.
Yeah.
The one thing we're doing for sure is taking away JSN. If that means we're going to lose because you successfully exploit whatever openings are left by JSN being taken away, so be it. But we are not allowing JSN to single-handedly win this game for the Seahawks.
You're right. And I'm going to immediately backpedal on this and say if you want to get cute and you want to say I'm not going to play JSN, that's how I'm going to get different, and that is different. Trust this. He's 85% rostership probably in this game, and rightfully so. Cooper Kupp is being targeted in this postseason on 26% of his pass routes.
Yes,
that's
crazy,
way above
crazy.
his season-long rate of 17% of his pass routes. And I think it's because, he's open because teams are focusing rightfully on JSN. So if they deploy that strategy, Pat, it could be another Cooper Kupp game where he catches, 5 to 7 passes.
And narrative-based, wouldn't this be why they signed Cooper Kupp?
Wow, you're right.
Big game experience, big-time player, not what he once was, but one of the toughest pairs of hands in the league. Interesting stuff with Cooper Kupp. It's crazy. We're at the end of the line here. These are our final few moments of our final show of the week. We got to put a bow on the game. What is your Super Bowl X factor? Your number one X factor? Multiple X factors every big game like this. But what would you say is the X factor you're paying the most attention to heading into Sunday's game?
If the Seahawks can somehow neutralize this very healthy and resurgent front seven for New England, I think it's over. I think
you're probably right.
I think Clint Kubiak can do what he wants to do all the cool stuff, all the play action, all the motioning, all the getting Darnold outside the pocket to make those throws to JSN down the field, all that stuff, right? The explosive plays. I think that if the Seahawks can do that, they'll be good. If they don't, then I think it becomes, like you said, a rock fight. It becomes probably a low-scoring game. It's probably which team can make one more play than the other. So that would be it for me, because this Patriots defense has been, as you know, a very serious unit over the past 3 weeks.
There's almost no path to Patriots victory if Sam Darnold's comfortable.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold, I like him personally, but he needs to be in misery during this game if the Patriots are going to win. He needs to be hating life during this game if the Patriots are going to win. Kind of along the same lines. I think my number one X factor, even in a rock fight, a low-scoring game, the Patriots aren't winning without some big plays on offense. And just can the Patriots find a way to make big plays on offense? Because as we were kind of talking about with Sheil, they were a big play offense all year. Drake Maye was never a particularly high-volume guy. He wasn't a low-volume guy, but he buttered his bread down the field, really high average depth of target, really high completion percentage over expected down the field.
Yeah.
He needs to be hitting plays down the field.
Yeah.
They need to dust off TreVeyon Henderson. Mm-hmm. They're not getting any big plays in the running game. They need something from TreVeyon Henderson. And to me, there's just no. I just said there's no path to victory. They don't do well in defense. There's also no path to victory, Denny. I think the Seahawks, they will make big plays one way or another.
Right. This
is kind of how things go for them. New England has to find a way to make big plays on offense, no matter what the game environment is. A shootout, of course they would. Even in a low-scoring game, if they're not hitting at least one 44-yard completion to Mac Hollins, etc.
Yeah.
I don't see how they win.
No, absolutely. Yeah, TreVeyon Henderson's usage has been weird lately.
Very bizarre.
He was barely used in the AFC Championship game. Even, especially as a pass catcher. I wrote about this in my DFS article, Ramondre Stevenson is out there on every passing down. And I feel like that should change here because Stevenson is a plotter. Stevenson will if you need 4 yards, he'll get you 3. And if you need 3, he'll also get you 3. but you're right. I think Henderson could be a big X factor here.
Denny, my final word on Super Bowl 60 is I'm haunted by the groupthink. I have not heard one person say the Patriots will win.
I know.
Here's why the Patriots. No one's even wanting to be a contrarian this year,
right.
Which is haunting. But just because everyone is saying the same thing doesn't mean you just automatically assume it's wrong.
Right.
The Seahawks have earned the right to be favorites in this game. I agree with it. I do think, unlike a lot of people, I think it will be an agonizingly close game. I think it's going to be a very, very possession to possession, coming down to the final few minutes, final few plays type of game. I do think the Seahawks will win. I think the New England Patriots will cover 4.5 points. That's my final word. What is your final word on Super Bowl 60?
Seahawks cover easily, and the over hits.
The over hits come on.
The over hits.
The over.
I like the Seahawks.
Sam Darnold and Drake Maye. Who is stopping this over combination?
I believe in Clint Kubiak, the 14th Kubiak brother.
I genuinely cannot believe our time on Super Bowl 60 Radio Row has come to an end, but it unfortunately has. We've enjoyed every second. We really hope you have listening at home. We could not have done it with so much help from our crew, both here, back in Connecticut. Thank you so much for everything everyone has done. But thank you so much, most of all, to you, the listeners, for listening. I'm Patrick Daugherty. That's Denny Carter. This was San Francisco. We'll be back home next week.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched. or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Rotoworld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.